There's never been a better time to have Sirius XM. With over 140 channels in your vehicle, your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with Sirius XM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.
So if you're a dealer and you're taking the time to take a closer look into the motorcycle audio segment, you're going to be hard-pressed not to bump into today's brand. Of course, we're talking about Rockford Fosgate, a brand known to build and engineer purpose-built stuff and really has a strong history within the motorcycle audio segment. Today, in the studio with us, we're lucky enough to be joined by both Eric Russell as well as Greg Cobbs, who's going to shed some light on the matter, give us some insight, and this is a show you don't want to miss. This is CMA Connected, presented by Sirius XM. Rockford Fosgate motorcycle audio starts now. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another CMA Connected. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Rockford Fosgate, like I'm talking huge brand, right? Huge brand. In fact, one of those brands that when you talk or look into motorcycle audio, you're going to bump into it all over the place. And there's a reason for that. They've been doing it for a long time. And some of their products, they're in their second, their third generation, tons of research and development to make it easy for you, the dealer, to offer a product which stands up to the test of time, that is easy to install and is backed by tons of engineering and technical support. In Canada, they are distributed exclusively by Automobility. And today, joining me first to kind of break it down for us is their product manager, Mr. Steve Colomb.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, Steve. How are you today?
Very good. Getting rid of the snow up here, so we're good.
Man, we're talking about motorcycle. We're not talking about snow no more. We're not talking about
exactly.
audio. We're talking about motorcycle audio.
We're heading the right way. That's what I'm saying.
100% we're headed the right direction. And I remember we talked about this a little bit last year. And, in general, when we're talking about Rockford Fosgate, it's always going to be a great show because there's so much to talk about. What is the appetite, though, in Canada? Because we know in the U.S., they have these big events and Sturgis and all this stuff. But I want to hear from you because you're in touch with the market here. What is the appetite for motorcycle-related product in the Canadian marketplace?
It has been huge, since day one when Rockford released those kits for Harley Davidson. There's always been a buzz around, the Rockford brand. They've been around for so long. And, in the last 2 years, especially with everything going on and travel limitations, people turned around and said, you know what, it is time, right? And I think it created more demand on those kits, So yes, there is a lot of appetite right now, as you said it. So it's a good time to be part of the Rockford family. Yeah,
absolutely. So we got some heavy hitters. Of course, we have our resident specialist that takes the time to come on with us, Eric Russell, who'll be joining us. So he's going to walk us through some of the product. But we got a wild card. We actually have the man himself, and when I say the man, he's kind of the dude in charge of the whole motorcycle thing at Rockford, and that is Greg Cobbs. So I'd like to know what you're most excited about today.
Well, it's always exciting to get the members and our friends at Rockford on the show. We had such great key members in the last year. We had Theresa, we had Zach, also Jerry and Eric. Which is one of the top speaker, pun intended, in the industry,
Yep.
So
well said.
I mean, it's always good. What's exciting is we're adding in another key speaker today, another key guest in Greg, and we'll go more in depth under the back scenes, behind the scenes stuff, the production side of things. So it's always great to
yeah, it's going to be a good one. I think we're going to uncover a couple of the secrets maybe behind the success and why it's so popular. But before we bring them on, let's set the mood. We've got a great video to show to really showcase the culture of motorcycle audio at Rockford Fosgate. Let's go ahead and roll the tape. Steve, I got to say, if that doesn't get you pumped, I don't know what will. The whole festival, the people, and so many great. I mean, they're doing installs live on the spot. Did you see that?
Yeah,
that's absolutely
that's
absolutely crazy. Blows my mind. Okay, I'm pumped. Let's go ahead and bring in our specialist. Steve, thank you for joining us today. We're going to bring you back at the end when we're having a discussion with Greg, but I'm going to go through a little bit of the presentation and really go through the key products with our product expert, Eric Russell. I'll see you in a bit, Steve.
All right.
So let's go ahead and bring Eric Russell. His actual title is Senior Digital Strategist, but he's our product expert because he's been there forever and he knows everything there is to know about Rockford Fosgate. So let's go ahead and bring him on. Mr. Eric, what's going on?
Ben, great to see you again, buddy.
Really happy to have you back this time. We're switching gears. We're talking about motorcycle audio. That video right there just pumped me up. Can I just say that out of the gate that, man, when Rockford shows up, especially to an event like that, you guys show up.
It's big time. So yeah, the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. We are the official audio sponsor of the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. It happens every August. It's around 10 days. Last year, there were 555,000 riders that attended the event. It's the largest in the world. So we started going over the last 14 years, and we really started hitting it hard in 2014.
It is the visuals. I mean, I really like the grandma sitting on the side cart. I don't know why I keep remembering that, but everything else about it, I see these subwoofers like the one in front of you going in. But what's the takeaway when you're at an event like this? I mean, you're connecting with tons of consumers. What was the takeaway from this year's event?
Well, it's just like learning a new language, right? You're fully immersed in the lifestyle. You're fully immersed with talking to customers, talking to riders, and you run the gamut. You could have somebody that just needs a couple speakers to a full 8-speaker system. So you do talk to a wide variety of customers. So we actually had 3 authorized Rockford Fosgate dealers on site: Black Hills Harley Davidson, Sound Connection right on Lizelle, and then Extreme Audio at the Buffalo Chip. And those time periods of last year, we did 750 installations, with the typical being a 3-stage system.
750 installs in 10 days. That's 75 installs a day.
That's crazy.
Insane. That is insane. So you got to come to this thing like equipped not only with install tools and personnel, but also inventory.
Yeah, so the dealers did load up on inventory as we were preparing for it. Now, they actually do come in a little early for the ride, and then they might stay a little bit late. So we were there for a little bit more than 10 days. But yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Wow. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So yes, inventory is loaded up, and staff, they are rotated out. That's how long the staff members are out there talking to consumers. Is we have shifts. So they'll be out there for 4 or 5 days, and then they'll fly back home, and a new staff member will replace them. So it's a big event.
It's a serious logistical like endeavor, really. That's what it is. Okay, Sturgis is fun. I wish I can be there one day, but let's talk product real quick. Eric, why don't you give us an overview of what we're about to go over today?
Sure. So let's talk about the new subwoofer kit for Harley Davidson, and then we're going to talk about amplifier technology, and then we'll work on the PMX source unit for 98 to 13 motorcycles.
Sweet. So 3 main categories to cover. Let's start with the first one. I see it right in front of you. It's staring me in the face. I saw it in the video. We had the chance to talk with you and Teresa about it a couple months ago. So let's go. Subwoofer kit.
Right. So we just announced this at last Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. So it's a dual subwoofer kit. It has 2 10-inch subwoofers, one for each saddlebag. And these are roto-molded, so it's all seamless one design. So you don't have any areas of weakness. And these are removable. That is the best option. So yeah, if you need to go on a tour, you can remove this. If you need to bring the wife with you, you can remove both of them. So that's your option. These are element ready. The enclosure is an IPX6 rating. So you can expose this to a rainstorm and you won't have any problems. The grill right here allows base to come out. It's firing toward the wheel well. With the kit, you get all the components, and I'll go into detail on that in just a minute. But yeah, it's a great system. Frequency response on this is 20 to 750 hertz. Each enclosure is rated at 300 watts RMS, 1200 peak, and these are about 13 pounds each.
Okay, so we're talking a true drop-in kit. You mentioned that everything comes in because it looks, I can just kind of tell by the shape. If you just lift it for 1 second, I mean, it looks like it fits absolutely snug, no modification.
Yeah, you can tell by the unique shape. This is designed specifically for the saddlebag. So yeah, it just drops right in. I've got this on standoffs, so we use this display to show customers how you can integrate it in with your existing system.
I noticed that on top there's an indentation. Now, was that specifically designed for a purpose?
Yeah, so this is designed to fit our TMS 6x9 speakers. So that cradles perfectly in this spot right here. And then, of course, on the other side, this is your quick disconnect Deutsch connector up here on the top. So you've got waterproof connectivity, but it's really easy to disconnect and remove it from the motorcycle.
Very, very interesting. And what size are those subwoofers, Eric?
These are 10-inch subwoofers rated at 300 watts RMS, 1200 peak. And the kit that comes with, we'll just go ahead and get into that. So you're going to get a cutting template, and you'll just set it up here in front of the subwoofer, the saddlebag. You'll cut out all your slots, and then here's your grill that you'll 3M stick onto the outside. And then there's a retaining part of the grill that screws to this. And then this is a pass-through, so that way you can easily connect the wiring from your motorcycle to the saddlebag. So if you experienced any difficulties taking off saddlebags before, we now have this as a quick disconnect. So it's much, much, much easier. And of course, with the kit, we provide the tuning guide. I actually make this. It's all in color. So it's really, really easy for a dealer to follow, set it up, get it rolling, and the customer has great audio because it's factory tuned from Rockford Fosgate when you use those settings.
Now, help me understand it. Is this a kit that's it comes as two subwoofers, or can you buy them separately? How does that work? What is the package?
Yep. The kit comes with 2 subwoofer enclosures, one 800-watt amplifier, and all the wiring and kitting that is needed in order to install it. So yeah, the amplifier is an 800-watt. It's IPX6 rated. So the amplifier sits back here on the back of the saddlebag in a nice little cradle. It is a Class AD design. That's a custom Rockford Fosgate Class D topology. Has differential inputs. So if you have any sort of noise on the electrical system, like an LED system, it's not going to penetrate into the audio. This also does use what's proprietary clean technology, which is basically a clip LED system. And so you can figure out how loud you can turn your radio before it clips. And then you can see how much you can increase the output of this until it clips. So you're always going to get clean audio from the source unit down to the amplifier. And of course, the big thing on this is what's called constant power. Now, this is a patented circuitry developed right here in Tempe, Arizona by Rockford Fosgate. And constant power is basically like a cruise control for your amplifier. If you have cruise control set up and you're going on a hill, it's going to increase the throttle or provide more gas so that you can maintain that speed. That's the same thing what happens with the amplifier. As you're presenting a heavy load like a subwoofer system, the amplifier will continue to drive harder and harder so that it produces the right amount of output that you need. And we don't even just talk about this, we show it. So we use what's called a power cube, and that is a very special test device, and I'll show you what happens. So on your left, you've got a 3D cubes structure, and then on your right, you have the finished one. So this is what happens when we're developing the product, and it looks for deficiencies in the protection. If a high impedance load is causing a protection circuitry to come in too soon, or if any other component has aberrations, we can figure out what part of the circuitry is affected, and then by the time it goes into production, you'll have a good cubic design. Now, this is specific, a very, very, very specific test, because we're not just talking about resistive loads. This also measures inductive and capacitive loads. So that's a really big difference with Rockford Fosgate. We're not just testing the amplifier on a bench with a resistor. We're actually looking at inductive loads from the voice coil and capacitive loads from the surround and spider assembly. So it really does put the amplifier, the electronics, in a really brutal test to make sure that when we put it in a real world application, it's going to deliver the power no matter what the conditions are.
I love how confident you are when you talk about these technologies, Eric, because it just goes to show the type of brain power that goes behind these things, and that you want to over deliver on anything that's specification or anything of that nature, because the customer, you want them happy. And I want to point something out there. You talked about the clipping. From what I understand, these motorcycle guys, I don't even know why they have potentiometers. The system is either off or it's at full blast. So really, the responsibility falls on the installer to set that up properly. And I think with the technologies and features like what you just mentioned, it certainly helps that cause.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually really surprised when we got into motorcycle audio that it is either an on or off type situation. And knowing where that clipping point is on the radio, which is typically 3 bars from max, we can tell the rider and educate them, only increase the radio volume to this level, so that way you get good clean output and you won't blow up any speakers.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And again, built tough. And if I could just circle back, you said there's a cradle for a placement for that amplifier to install into specifically?
Yes. So the amplifier sits in a cradle, and then it gets installed back here on the back. Not literally on the outside, but inside the
inside.
bag.
Okay, that's what I wanted clarity on. Okay, got it. Very, very nice. You mentioned about the signal in the source unit. I think that's the third item that we want to talk about.
Yeah, so let's talk about the PMX HD 9813. So this is a specific multimedia source unit for Harley-Davidson motorcycles from 1998 to 2013, and it's engineered to fit. So as you can see, I'm going to step closer to the camera. This is keyed for Harley-Davidson connectivity. Factory connectors on the back, factory mounting points on the top, element ready, which is weatherproof front, rubberized control, and a great 3-inch LCD color display. So this does have Bluetooth, Pandora, Sirius XM capability. It has 4-volt output on front, rear, and subwoofers, preamp outputs. It does have on the front control right here a subwoofer level. And then it has one auxiliary input, which is 2 RCAs, and an output impedance of 500 ohms. So a lot of manufacturers don't talk about output impedance. And output impedance is the lower the impedance, the stronger the preamp is. So a 500 ohm impedance is actually really, really good. That means if needed, this could drive multiple amplifiers without any sort of signal degradation. It does have built-in power if you want to start off slow with like the stage 1. It's 50 watts by 4 with the built-in amplifier. And of course, it has a USB charging output, so you can charge your phone while you're riding. So it's a really, really great unit. We're having a lot of success in Canada with this particular radio. I know a lot of customers, they have the factory HK radio and they have to get it repaired because there's really nothing like a factory replacement for that. So stepping them into a multimedia source unit like this will bring them into the modern technology. That way they can play their MP3s. They can stream audio directly from their mobile device to the radio. It's just a great unit all the way around. It's a great upgrade. And it has a built-in clock. I know it's very, very simple, but that is one of the most requested features from riders is, does it have a clock on it? And the clock you can see on our display right here is fully visible on the faceplate. So it allows the rider to keep his eyes on the road without having to pull his phone out and check it. So it's a really, really great source unit.
Well, so that source unit, I would imagine, it's all factory mounting holes. There's no modification to put it in. And like you said, it's keyed and plugs in direct.
Absolutely. Yeah. Keyed to fit.
So let's summarize this all. We started with the double subwoofer system, which obviously is really slick. It comes with everything that you need to install, a big power plant with that amplifier. But you mentioned something, that last bit is, Rockford Fosgate offers product at every level and every stage. Because, if you start with that head unit, right, you're already going to improve your interface, your auxiliary inputs, and so on and so forth. But you're also getting some decent power out of that head unit, and you can do it one step at a time. What I didn't want dealers to think was that everything's only available in kits. That's not necessarily true. You have both options to go, which gives, I think, an advantage to being a Rockford dealer, is that you have that option to be able to cater to what the customer wants.
Right. So currently we offer 3 stages. A stage 1 would be a radio and front fairing speakers. A stage 2 would add an amplifier to that, the TM400X4AD. And then stage 3 would add saddlebag 6x9 speakers to the bag lids. So those are our typical step ups. Now, dealers are really successful with some of the a la carte pieces. If you've got an Ultra or CBO, you can add lowers, right? Or if you have a tour pack, you might not always have that full 6 or 8 speaker customer come in, but having that in the a la carte in your inventory is going to set you up to handle that customer no matter what. We also have factory CBO 5x7s for the factory lids. Those usually degrade over time. You can easily swap it out, get the motorcycle rider back on, within 30 minutes. So yeah, both kits and a la carte are a great, great option for a dealer.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking us through all that incredible product. We're going to take a quick break. Before we do that, we got another video queued up, which is a really interesting one. Can you kind of set this up? Because this is kind of a unique event that went down at Rockford headquarters.
It's the first ever event for Rockford Fosgate, and I don't want to give it away, Ben, but boy, it's really, really cool. Check it out.
All right, here we go. Let's roll the tape. Rockford Fosgate special event.
Hey, it's Jeff G. Holt of V-Twin Visionary, and we're here at Rockford Fosgate for the first ever V-Twin Visionary Rockford Fosgate Performance and Custom Bike Show, presented to you by Harley Davidson. We are just having a party here. It's a lot of fun, man.
We've opened up the doors. You can see behind the scenes. We got tours, audio demos. We're doing awards. We have our engineers out here talking to people, showing you what makes Rockford so great.
A lot of people showing up. A lot of amazing bikes have been rolling through here in the last half hour. I can't wait to see what else comes through.
We always like coming out and being around everybody. This is family anymore. So we're definitely looking forward to the day.
Big shout out to Rockford for putting this on, man. A lot of great bikes showed up. A lot of big sound coming in and out of here, man. Just a perfect turnout, man. What a great day.
The bikes are packed and stacked. The judging's going on. I can't tell you how excited I am.
Thank you, Rockford.
Hey, and that was that. I'm here with the Best of Show bike. We had such a killer time here. We'll be doing it again next year, so check it out. We'll see you next year.
How neat is that Rockford hosted their very own bike event to bring the community together right there at their head office, and on top of that, open the doors for consumers to get a glimpse of what's behind the scenes. And on that note, this sets up perfectly for our final segment of the show. It's a little bit of a roundtable we're going to have, where we're going to get the man in charge of the brand and maybe get a glimpse of what does happen behind the scenes. Let's go ahead and bring back our guests. Of course, we have Steve Colon from Automobility that'll be joining us back, as well as Eric Russell. Eric, thanks for coming back. And introducing Mr. Greg Cobbs, who's the Director of Business Development for Motorcycle at Rockford. Mr. Cobbs, welcome to CMA.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it. Excited to be on the show with you guys.
Excellent. I think the show is going fantastic. We're really getting a glimpse of, what is essentially at the heart of Rockford Fosgate motorcycle audio. But while I have you on, I'd like to start off with a simple question, and that is, how would you best describe Rockford Fosgate's commitment to motorcycle audio?
Well, we'll start off. It's about the people that we have here in the office, right? Being hobbyists, growing up living here in the desert, where it's pretty much riding season all year round. There's a lot of motorcycle enthusiasts here, right? So it was a real natural fit to go down this path. And then we've taken that a step further. We've hired in the Harley world, to be the other best technicians. They call them master techs. They have to go to special Harley Davidson schools. We have our own master tech on staff here at Rockford Fosgate. He's been a Harley master tech for over 13 years. So all the experience in the world behind him, that gives us a unique perspective on these bikes, right? It's not just engineers looking at it, trying to figure out how to fit things on it. This is a guy who knows how the things go together, comes apart. That's one of the major commitments we've done, is the staffing for it. And then, as you can see, the lineup of products that we've developed, right? It's not a piece here and a piece there. It's a full system. And it doesn't matter if you just want 2 speakers, if you want to do a full 8 speaker and 2 subs. We've developed a system that will bolt into the bike, still let you utilize the bike as it was designed from the factory, and get the full performance out of both the audio and the motorcycle.
Yeah, and that's something that we hear a lot, is that not only do they fit well, it doesn't impede in the original functionality by any means or stretch of the imagination. Which segues me to wonder. I saw that there were lucky folk that got behind the scenes and you were giving them tours inside the building. I was lucky enough to be there once, many moons ago. But just how many patents or can I say unique toolings or is involved when it comes to developing product in this category?
It's getting tougher and tougher to get patents in the audio space, but I think we have upwards of 3 dedicated patents just for the motorcycle audio itself. And then when you say tools, we have tools to develop each and every product. Eric, you want to speak a little more on this one?
Yeah, so the 3 patents that we have are the constant power for the amplifier, the saddlebag grill, and then for the brand new subwoofer, we were just awarded the design patent for this just a handful of days ago. The utility patent is pending right now. And then unique tools, we've got about 10 that are specific for Harley Davidson. Again, we're designing and engineering these products specifically for Harley Davidson from the ground up. So these aren't repurposed car audio anything. We took the front ground and just started working and figuring out what an installer needed to have in the motorcycle to make it easier for them to install the product, what's going to make it sound better. So all the research and development that Greg's been talking about, we have a great, powerful staff on hand, and they're able to really mold the product specifically for Harley Davidson. It's just keyed to fit, purpose built.
Purpose built. I love how that goes back. Steve, did you have any questions with regards to this process or maybe in the fabrication of things?
Well, yes, we get often asked if, what's the whole process? And basically, can you guys walk us through the whole process and development of concerning, all the new products that you guys come out with?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll jump in and take this one.
I'm curious.
Most of this stuff starts with us in the field talking to consumers, right? For years, like most audio companies, we assumed people were going to take car audio stuff and adapt it over to a motorcycle. And we had some guys do it with some limited success. But when we got our engineers in the field and actually talking to the consumers and hearing exactly what they needed, that's where the true passion for this kitting process and for the concept of the way we do this came from. And so it's real easy, you know, you're out in the parking lot all day, you're talking to guys, we get together afterwards to have dinner, maybe a cold beer. Typically starts with the sketch on the back of a cocktail napkin, like the Baglet kit. That's exactly how that started.
Like,
you know?
all how great ideas begin. Cocktail napkin.
Right? So, you know, that gets kicked around a little bit. It ends up in RTTI in the shop. Those master fabricators back there spend the time, hand build some prototypes. And once we get a working prototype that we like the way it sounds, we like the cosmetic direction it's going, then it gets handed over to the full engineering team where they start with their magic tools that Eric's really familiar with.
Yeah, so they'll take the the hand carvings out of foam or made out of Bondo, and then they'll start taking with their calipers and measuring, and so they'll do 3D scans of the prototype, the proof of concept, as you will. They can do 3D printing. We actually 3D printed some of these items for this subwoofer to make sure that it was going to fit properly and make sure that the aesthetics were there, that it looked like a Rockford Fosgate product. So yeah, they take all the measurements, they put it into a computer-aided system, and then that way we can build our tools from those. And the tools are really expensive, so we have to make sure that it's dialed in, very, very precise.
Wow, that's impressive. I mean, that in itself, Stephen, is enough to, like, when you train dealers, I think it's important that they understand, you know, the type of company that they're representing when they're selling Rockford. It's not random. Yes, it starts on a cocktail napkin, but look at, you know, all the steps that get there. This is a two-part question. I'm going to ask Greg first, and then I'd like to hear Eric's opinion on this. You guys are involved. You're at these events. You're doing your own events, right? And obviously, it's growing. The category is growing. So why do you think that the motorcycle audio category continues to grow at such an accelerated rate? I'll start with Greg.
Well, my perspective is I think motorcycle audio had been an afterthought for most companies up until, well, for most companies up until real recent. For us, about 8 to 10 years ago, we kind of started down this path with PBR amps. But we've actually we're listening to these folks. We're listening to their wants and their needs, and we're delivering products that are fulfilling those needs. And it's, you know, it's a snowball. Once that ball got pushing down the track, and there's another thing going on in the background as well, is the EPA has cracked down on the way they allow them to build and tune these engines on the motorcycles. And there's a big lawsuit recently. If you follow much of the news, you've probably seen that a major motorcycle manufacturer got hit with some fines from the way things were happening. And so a lot of people have backed off from that. And, you know, audio is now kind of considered the big block of motorcycle enthusiasts, right? They used to spend their money, save up, want to get the biggest, highest performing motor. Well, they're getting pretty good power right from the factory now. And the way the EPA is trying to lock things down, it's getting tougher and tougher to do that. And it's just been a natural transition right to the audio. And we just happen to be right place at the right time, right? Our focus was there, and, you know, kind of just played in our favor.
A very interesting insight. How about you, Eric? What do you think? What is the factors?
You know, a lot of fanatics have grown up with Rockford Fosgate in their automobiles. As we're getting older, you know, I'm 50 years old. I got an 18-year-old son who's going to be we're going to be an empty nest going off to college. But, you know, that's the perfect time to buy a boat, buy a side-by-side.
Spoil yourself. Yeah, absolutely. Took care of that kid for 18 years.
Right. So, yeah, it was the perfect time for us to expand into other markets. You know, customers loved the Rockford Fosgate signature sound that they get in their automobile. And they were asking, hey, can I get the same sound in my boat? Can you put the same sound in my Razor? Can you put a sound system like that on my motorcycle? And we said, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good. I don't know, Steve, what do you got for them?
Well, following that, what expert advice would you guys have? Or even, I'd say Greg, because he's the director, to new dealers that want to go into a motorcycle audio business?
The first thing that I would say is don't be scared and jump in with both feet. Since I moved my focus over to the motorcycle audio space, I've met some of the greatest people. I mean, just salt of the earth. You know, they just want to ride their motorcycle, enjoy life, and listen to great tunes, right? I think there's this scary persona when people think of motorcycles that if they work on one bike, the Hells Angels are going to show up at their shop. The world is just not like that, right? There's so many great people out there. And then I would look at companies that can help provide a complete solution, right? Those are a couple of the key things that I would be looking at if I was going to move into this category.
Very sound advice. Very sound advice indeed. Question for you, Eric. Question for you. You're talking about dealers. Support, super important, right? And I know Rockford is always known for providing incredible support, but let's spell it out for everybody. What kind of support are you offering dealers if they're wondering, what kind of help do I have if I decide to, dive into this?
Well, our own technical support is available Monday through Friday. Automobility has their own great technical support. I'm friends with Eric on the team up there, and he's a great technician, very knowledgeable. We also have compatibility charts on our website. So as you look at a product, you can make sure that it will fit the right touring bikes that you're targeting in your market. There's a vehicle year, make, model lookups to make it easier for you. And then, of course, marketing has a media gallery. So this is the brainchild of our director of marketing, Tammy Lowe. So a lot of the collateral that you see, even those 2 videos that we just played earlier, are available for free for dealers to use. We have 230 lifestyle photos. We have 127 product photos, different angles of the product itself. And like I just mentioned, we have 68 specific motorcycle videos for a dealer to download right now and use on their social media or on their website.
That's a pretty darn solid answer. I don't have anything to say about that. I mean, no excuses, guys. You're selling Rockford. Don't tell me they're not giving you the stuff to advertise it, because it certainly sounds like they've got that part on lock. Okay.
We've literally taken guys who have never done an install on a motorcycle before, put a 20-minute video in front of them. They watch the video that literally shows you start by taking this screw out, right? And it walks them all the way through the steps to flash in a 14 and up motorcycle. And then we include with every kit a tuning guide that says, if you install this system this way and you set the amp this way, we know the performance and the reliability of that system.
And it's repeatable.
That's the steps a lot of guys look over. You don't have to figure out every time a bike comes in the shop, right? We've given you the tools, put them right in front of you. If you do it like we say, and we even have specified time frames that these should be able to be accomplished in, right? So you're not guessing on labor and coming up short. We have recommended times. And then with the recommended tunings, we can predict the output and outcome of what your installation is going to be.
And that's really helpful when it comes to quoting jobs, right?
Yes.
I can totally see that. I'm gonna target you a little bit here, Greg. I'm taking advantage of the fact that you're here. This is a big topic that's floating around when it comes to motorcycle audio. There's kind of like 2 schools out there, right? You've got the plug and play solution, all inclusive, easy to do solutions and products that you guys offer 100%. And then there's the school of thought of, full custom, make holes, do custom work and take advantage of that. I'd like to hear your analysis, both pros and cons of both scenarios, and what you have to say about that.
Yeah, for sure. There's a nice segment of the market out there that's the full custom, the show bike guy, the guy that's not going to get on here in Arizona and ride to Sturgis. He may stick it in a trailer and drive it up there and take it from a show at one bar and ride it to the next bar to another show. And those are fantastic machines. I love looking at the workmanship, the craftsmanship. It's kind of where I cut my teeth. My background, right, would come out of the shop. I was a custom builder for a lot of years. Not specific on motorcycle, just in audio in general, but I definitely did my share of bikes even back then. So there's that piece of the business, which is a lot of the guys that you see online and on the forums, and they're the guys that make a lot of noise. But the piece that nobody really wants to talk about is the true plug and play. That's where our kits land. And our goal is not to modify the motorcycle whatsoever. The only things we do is modify the bags, and those are by choice for additional sound. When plug and play first come out, there might have been parts of it that were plug and play, but then you still had to figure out the rest of it. And, we've taken that to the next level. We have complete solutions. You can do an 8-speaker system in a motorcycle, and literally the only thing you're going to end up doing is cutting the lids, right, for our cut-in baglet template. So that's taken that plug and play to the end game, right? It's not plug and play was always kind of part of it worked, and then you figured the other side out, and we've connected all of those dots.
So it is truly plug and play. Everything's been thought out. And if you as a dealer are tuning into this and listening, I believe, and this is my personal opinion, it's a great place to start if you wanted to get into motorcycle audio. You don't have to go to a specialty training course. Like you said, Rockford Fosgate lays it all out for you. And if it's not immediately in front of you, it's one click or one step away or one phone call away to get that support. Guys, that was an amazing discussion. I want to thank you, Greg, and thank you, Eric, for coming on with us today. Eric, thank you for the product presentation. Greg, thank you so much for your wisdom and insight. And I want to say thank you, and I want to wish you guys the best, and I look forward to having you guys on sometime soon again.
Thank you, Ben, Steve. Appreciate you having me.
Awesome discussion. We're going to round this show out. I want to bring back Steve because, it's important that we talk about the distributor. I want to hear what Steve has to say because that was a lot to kind of think about, and I want to hear what he has to say. So let's go ahead and bring Steve back on from Automobility. Steve, that was awesome, first of all. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I think the dealers will really benefit from just listening to this conversation, right?
It was great, yeah.
Why do you believe, now that they're not here, I'm going to ask you, why do you believe that Rockford has such a great following? You can speak for Canada, but, the loyalty and the brand recognition, it's something to talk about.
Well, as you saw today with Eric and Greg, it's purpose-built. It's been ongoing for a lot of years, not 2 years, not 1 year. It's over 10 years, almost 10 years now. So, dedication, will lead to innovation and commitment from all the team over there. They've been around they've been there for a long time. And, overall, the acknowledgement that Rockford had in the last years concerning motorcycle audio solutions is now on a different level. Always has been, when you have the Rockford name involved, it's purpose built and it's gonna pound, right? So
100%. And I'm gonna make a comment here. I feel like if there's a customer coming into a shop, there's a good chance that they already know what Rockford Fosgate is, especially if they're a motorcycle guy. It's one of those brands that they almost ask for by brand name. Would you agree with that?
Yes. Listen, a lot of customers walk in some shops, some bike builders, and they want a Rockford sound system. They want a Rockford audio system for their Harley Davidson. They don't walk in to ask for a audio system for their bike. They want a Rockford system
specifically.
So, and that happened a lot. And we do have a lot of dealer inquiries. We have customers walking in, they want Rockford. That's it. So that means something.
It definitely means something. I'm going to ask you one more question, and this is the one I'm going to leave you with. What message do you have for Canadian dealers that maybe not Rockford dealers right now, but could be because of motorcycle audio, or vice versa? Maybe they're Rockford dealer but haven't really gone to motorcycle yet.
Well, if the last 50-ish or 45-ish minutes didn't convince anyone to step into the Rockford Fosgate motorcycle audio solutions, then I don't know what to tell them. Look, us, Automobility and Rockford have been working together for a long time, and it's always been a hand-in-hand relationship. And as you guys saw, they're dedicated. So anything that's related to tech, marketing materials, these guys are amazing for that. They have 68 different videos.
Crazy.
Listen, and depending on the platform you want to advertise on, they have specific banners for Facebook, Instagram, name it. They have it all. So,
not to mention Rockford Fosgate Canada. Also, you guys have your own brand social media as well. So
Facebook,
you have Rockford
Instagram.
Fosgate. Yeah,
exactly. We've been working hard since 2 years to building up the social media presence and advertising, highlighting all our dealers, giving them the props. Just redirecting every single end user to the dealer directly.
Amazing.
This is key for us moving forward as well, and for the growth of the brand, and even it's
well said.
Yeah.
Rockford Fosgate Canada. It's a thing. Check it out. Instagram,
Facebook, Instagram. Hashtag. Is that it? Hashtag.
That's it. Hashtag Rockford Fosgate Canada, I believe it is.
Getting old.
Steve, thanks so much for bring your A game today, being part of the discussion. I'm really happy we put this one together. I think it was a really good one. Rockford Fosgate, big brand. We got to go big for it. So on that note, thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. That was Steve from Automobility, the Canadian exclusive distributor for all things Rockford Fosgate. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for staying with us this long. Hey, I want to remind you, we are deep into the motorcycle audio sessions. Every day we go one-on-one with the brand. Today, of course, is Rockford. We're going from Wednesday, April 20th, straight through till Friday, April 29th, with some of the biggest, baddest brands in motorcycle audio. And last but not least, make sure you check out the new cmanetworks.com. It's our brand new website. It's where we house all our videos. You can watch everything on demand. You could search for them through our new search tools, whether it's by category, by brand, or even by trainer. I know my man Eric Russell has a whole profile there. You can check out all the great videos that we've done together. That's it. Thanks for tuning in. This is CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Yo, roll it down. I am. You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?